Greetings and welcome to Our Schools Monthly, a video program sponsored by the Port Huron Area School District designed to keep you informed of what's happening in our school district. Today we have several very special guests who are here to tell us about some very different programs, and our first guests are the Kamidoys. Hi, Kyle Kamidoy.
Yep.
Hi, and Steve Kamidoy.
Okay.
Hi, thank you for joining me today. Now, Kyle, you're a junior, I understand, at Port Huron Northern.
Yep.
And Mr. Kamidoy, you are the planning supervisor for Detroit Edison.
Yes.
And a part-time sports writer for the Times-Herald.
Yes.
I just thought I'd throw that out as we talked about that earlier. But you are my guest today because I recently had a chance to hear you speak at a breakfast in the school district. It was the School to Work Transition Program breakfast held on last Thursday sometime at Wadham's Banquet Center. And this was an opportunity for you to talk to the people who were there, and these might have been businesses or school representatives or counselors or a lot of us there from different fields, about your experiences in the job shadowing program. Mm-hmm. Now, I understand that you had kind of a whole turnabout. The original intent of the job shadowing program was to give students an opportunity to follow somebody through a day in the career that they're interested in. And what you wound up doing instead was changing careers. I mean, you went through this job shadowing thing and discovered that what you originally wanted to do might not be what you now want to do. Exactly. What was your original plan?
Originally, I wanted to go to the University of Michigan and become a surgeon. But after I did job shadowing and I saw the prosecuting attorney's office and everything, I realized that that was really the one thing that I wanted to do, and you know, the surgeon just wasn't for me. So it kind of just changed my whole perspective on what I wanted to be in my future. Okay,
now you said something at the breakfast that I thought was pretty funny. You explained why you didn't think you really wanted to be a surgeon after all.
Oh yeah.
And that was?
That was because blood makes me pass out.
Surgeons don't do well when they pass out in the operating room because of blood.
That doesn't work.
And we were talking earlier, you were thinking of being an orthopedic surgeon, so you would be setting bones and maybe doing replacements and things like that. I think there would definitely be a little blood involved in that job.
Just a little bit.
So you chose, why did you choose to do this particular job shadowing and not an orthopedic surgeon job shadowing?
Because I always felt like I had my mindset of being a doctor so much that I wasn't really looking at anything different. And I always liked the profession of law, you know, watching court cases and stuff. So I figured, you know, just might as well look at it just to keep my options open just in case, you know, surgeon didn't work out. But it ended up just changing everything that I thought about, you know, my career.
But you mentioned that perhaps you'll become a medical lawyer.
Yep.
And what would be the focus of that practice?
That would be basically defending all medical personnel from lawsuits brought on by their patients, say like,
well, malpractice, something along that line. Like that, Now, I have to ask you, do you watch TV medical programs?
Yeah.
Don't watch ER, they squirt a lot of blood.
No, I don't watch ER.
Okay, do you watch television law programs now?
A little bit, yeah.
Of course, we all know that it's really done well for television to keep our interest. And if you've ever compared a television court drama to a real life drama, it doesn't move along with quite the same pace, but it still can be pretty intriguing. So you're all set for how many years of training in school?
About probably around 8 or 9.
And Dad, are you all set for that number of years of school?
Yes, I think we've been preparing.
We've been preparing. Is this your only child?
No, I have a daughter that's a sophomore at St. Clair College right now. And she's going to be moving on to Central.
Okay, so you'll have 2 in college at the same time.
Yes.
Only she'll be a little bit ahead, but if he takes 8 years, he'll catch up.
Yeah.
Okay. What is she looking at going into?
She's going into teaching.
Into teaching, okay. Well, if you have an opportunity to go into this, then you'll be all set, because there are always, I think, legal cases out there for a good aspiring, bright, young, good-looking, you know, challenging, witty, I'll throw all those adjectives in for you, medical lawyer to practice. Where would you like to practice?
Well, I'd like to start off in Port Huron and then maybe branch out to like some of the bigger cities, maybe like New York or Chicago. Something like that.
Yeah, my son did the same sort of thing, and he's in Washington, D.C. now, so the whole world is out there for you. And Steve, I wanted to ask you, as a parent involved in the School to Work Transition breakfast that day, what do you think is the value of this program? You have a chance to look at it from another objective, not as the student participating, but as the parent seeing the student participate. How is this program beneficial?
Well, I think it's good for any student to have an opportunity to look at the real work world, at something maybe they would like to pursue as a profession. As I said at the banquet, it would be great if every student had an opportunity to have a chance to look into a career. There were so many different businesses that were involved in that it would be great if they could coordinate it so each student could have a chance to work with a profession, even if it's one day. Kyle only spent the one day in the prosecuting attorney's office, and it made a big influence on him. It really had an impact.
I think it's kind of interesting too. People have their dream jobs and they think that's their dream job because of the perception they have of what the job entails. But when you suddenly come face to face with some of the realities of that, like the blood as a part of being a surgeon, sometimes you don't think about that. You just think, oh, a doctor helping people, and and all of a sudden the reality of it. I always wanted to be a veterinarian because I loved animals, and then when I discovered they had to do surgery, I mean, I never even thought about that. I just thought, you see the animal, say it's healthy, give them medications and shots, but then I discovered surgery was a part of that. I thought, well, no, so I became a teacher. But actually, that was my true calling. Like you, I discovered what really was my passion, and teaching German became my real passion. I taught German and English for 22 years. So, well, I appreciate you very much coming in, and I hope this has been a great experience for you, especially. Are you planning to do any more job shadowing in the future? Or do you have another opportunity to do that as a junior now and then as a senior?
No, it's basically a one-time program, but it's a great opportunity, just for even the one time.
You don't think you can go in and say, I think I've made up my mind, but I want to be sure?
Oh, yeah.
Get your foot in the door one more time? Yeah, you probably could, but I think you could also visit the courthouse on open court dates where you could sit in and see what lawyers are doing.
Yep.
And that would be beneficial as well.
Yeah.
You might even talk to maybe some medical people that you know in the community, your doctors, and ask what the importance is of a medical lawyer to them. Just to give you some greater background. Where do you plan to go to school then?
Michigan State right now.
Michigan State?
So they have a better law program around there than compared to like the University of Michigan.
Yeah, everybody specializes in certain areas, and, and Michigan State was better for foreign languages too. And with your background with Detroit Edison, did you have a chance to do job training or job shadowing before you joined Detroit Edison?
No, not really. As I said at the banquet as well, both my wife and I grew up in a small school, K-PAC, and we really didn't have the type of opportunity that Port Huron schools have given the opportunity for Kyle to do a job shadow program. So, no, we didn't. And whether, I really feel that it would have been nice to have that opportunity.
If you had had the opportunity, what field do you think you might have asked to do a job shadowing in?
Boy.
What else might you have been interested in besides what you do now?
Probably back then, well, I got my degree in architecture, so I probably would have wanted to maybe work in an architectural firm to see exactly what it is they do on a day-to-day basis.
And you didn't have that opportunity until you had already gone into your college. Well, great. Well, I appreciate you both being here very much. I want to compliment you again, by the way. You did an excellent job with your speech that morning. I was very impressed with your delivery, and I could see the pride in Dad's face. That's why I wanted him to be with us on the program as well. And it's really a privilege and an opportunity for us to get to know you a little bit and to know how this affected you and the importance of the job shadowing program. And I would encourage any of our students who are approached about doing a job shadowing to do it. Would you say the same?
Oh, yeah.
Would you agree?
Definitely.
It's a little scary, maybe? Until you get into it?
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
I mean, it's just one of those things that, you do, and then after you're done, you're like, oh, that was a really good thing to do.
And of course, you're not really asked to do anything like, in a lot of them, you're not asked to defend somebody that day. You just get to go and see what they're doing. I think sometimes, though, they incorporate the students, like if it's teaching or if it's, maybe sales or something, they might allow the student to participate in some aspect.
Yep.
But I know like if you shadow a policeman, you might ride around in the patrol car and see what that's all about. So, well, best of luck to you in your career at Michigan State University in medical legal practice, whatever, and best of luck to you at Detroit Edison. But I'm going to have to start watching the Times Herald for your sports articles. Do you write under your own name?
Yes, I do.
Kamidio.
And it's Port Huron High, Port Huron Northern each week.
Oh, it's the school report, so we don't see your picture in the corner.
Oh, yes, that's for the picks for the football weekly picks for the game.
That was Willie B. Wrong, but...
I don't know who that is.
No, okay, all right. It wasn't you anyway. Well, thank you very much for being with us, and that's our first interview for this show. Don't go away. We'll be right back with another interview that will be sure to be of interest to you. Thanks. Our next guest is someone who's normally behind the cameras or running the equipment, but today it's important for me to have an opportunity to talk to him about some of the things that have been happening that directly impact CPHS 6, and that is the station manager, Ed Senyk. Hi, Ed.
Hey there, Ken.
Thanks for coming onto this side of the camera for a change with me. And now you can see how blinding the lights are.
Oh,
Thanks
yes,
a lot.
yes.
Who's running the show?
Working out of tan on this side. Well, hopefully Brandon is.
Hopefully somebody's out there. I think we got a cameraman somewhere. Otherwise, this could be a real interesting interview.
Well, or else we put it on the edit floor. Just
there we go, and we'll see what
away.
happens. You could wind up on the cutting room floor like half of the stars of Hollywood. Anyway, we have some exciting news about CPHS 6. There are two really important things that have happened recently. One is an award, and the other is a gift.
Yes.
So let's start with the gift, because I know more about that, and we can talk a little bit more freely about that. Recently, at the most recent board meeting, everything was finalized. It was all put into place, and you knew about it before that. But CPHS 6, the district, received a new bus from, it's not new, but it received as a gift a bus from the Blue Water Transit for the token cost of $1. So why do we need a bus? Come on, Ed.
Well, that bus, it's amazing. I mean, Blue Water Transit went and generously gave us the bus, and again for that $1 price. And this bus is much bigger than the bus we're usually in. The bus that we're in, we are just packed in there with our equipment.
I don't think we can even use the word bus. I think box might be better. It's really a Ford van, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
And yeah, we are just crammed in that van, and now with this bus, I mean, we've got room. You went in there, you stood up in it. Yeah, I can stand up in it. We can walk around. It has a lift on it so that we no longer have to push our equipment up these two wooden ramps. We just put it into this wheelchair lift, and it'll bring it up into the bus. We have room enough to, not to get in anybody's way.
Well, you had height room before, as long as you and I could have stood up in the other one as long as we stood on our knees.
On our knees.
And so this is the difference now. You have clearance that you can actually walk around. You have enough room for 2 or 3 people to be operating certain equipment as opposed to 2 or 3 people running everything. And even then you were crammed, as you said, elbow to elbow, like sardines in a can. And there was no room. I saw you at the game, Friday night football game, and thought, well, this is the end of this era, and that's a wonderful demise to get rid of this old van that served us well, but it was time to move up. You also, I understand, have tinted windows. So we'll be able to see out the windows what's going on, but not have so much heat come in that it'll affect the equipment.
Right, and that also helps us with the sun too, because with the monitors we have to keep it in a darkened environment, and then now with the tinted windows, well, it'll still serve us quite well. And we thank Randy Fernandez, who was also very helpful, instrumental, yeah, in getting us this vehicle. He was the host of City Beat, and he set this up. Yeah, I mean, it's great. We are above Fantasyland.
Yes.
This is incredible for us.
Well, the other advantage, I remembered something else, is that because this was equipped to handle wheelchairs as well as being a small passenger van, you, one, have seats that will fold up where they would normally accommodate the wheelchair, but you can put them down for people to ride and sit on these seats and be transported. So on one side of the van you have seats for staff that they can sit when you're moving to the site, and on the other side you can fold the seats up to bring the equipment in, and there are little brackets in the floor where you can strap the equipment to the floor so it doesn't roll around.
Right, we can harness it up so this way we don't have to worry about when we take a corner that everything will stay in place.
Which side of the van is the corner? Is the equipment still on? Also, Jim Fisher and Jim Wilson, I think, were the names of the other 2 gentlemen that came to the board meeting that night to finalize.
Blue Water Transit.
From Blue Water Transit. So the $1 was just basically the token $1 because they can't just give things away, but they might as well have said it was a gift, and because what's $1? Matter of fact, our board vice president, Jeff Stout, said, I've got another $1 in my pocket. If you've got another van to sell, we can, bus to sell, we can use this.
Someone also talked about we should chop them down to 75 cents.
Try to get them down. Like a garage sale. No, I don't think so. I think that was a really generous gift, and it's in excellent shape, and we're really looking forward to being able to utilize this. And the whole idea is that it will transport equipment and CPHS 6 staff to the sites when you are filming, taping various school activities.
Right,
which would include
football, basketball,
plays, concerts.
Especially with the performing arts there, that we can use this to help facilitate a 2-camera shoot, whereas before we might have only been able to bring one because of the limited space.
And you don't necessarily have to unload everything anymore either. You know, when you come to something like that, you can park close enough and run cables.
Right.
So.
We
Does that mean I have to find more garden hose distributor things, you know, the winders? Do I need to start watching for those again?
Well, if it comes to it, yes,
Okay.
yes.
See what else I can find. Okay.
Yes, any kind of stuff we take.
Okay, now, including, we might throw that out to the audience, including a couple of new chairs for our sets. If anybody is remodeling and they have some chairs they want to get rid of, give us a call.
Absolutely.
We'll be looking
Anybody
forward to
out there, if you guys have anything out there that you want to give to us, anything that you might be thinking about throwing away, we take it.
We also discovered that, you shared this news with us, that Channel 6 won 2 awards through the Philo T. Farnsworth Award program.
Yes.
And this, it's probably changed a little bit, but I remember this from a long time ago when I was involved with the Let's Learn German program. It was a 5-state award. Is it still, or is it 3 states now?
5 states.
5
yes.
states.
Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky.
Okay, and Philo T. Farnsworth, I think, was like a pioneer in television or something, and he wanted to
15
promote.
years old.
He wanted to promote.
15 years old. He invented television at the age of 15. And so therefore he came up with it, wrote it on the chalkboard for his teacher. And that's what this award commemorates, is this individual who started it all, age 15.
And so what did you do that started the award process? What did you win the awards for this year?
We won a second place award for our news program. We do a news program here. We did it last year called Fast Forward News, with FAST being the initials for Port Huron Area School District.
Oh, FASD. Okay.
Yeah, but we say fast.
Fast.
We get that D in there. And the thing is that was the news program we did. It was entered in a professional, because there's 3 different categories. There's professional, there's non-professional, and then there's also student. So it was entered in a professional category, and it won 2nd place.
Wow.
And then also we had 1st place for an opening that we do called Tapes from the Cellar. Now this is an opening that we use that to introduce archive footage. So if somebody calls in and they say they want to watch something that we taped prior to 2004, well, then that's an introduction we give into the show to show us running down these stairs to get the tape out of this vault.
You know, and that brings up a good point that maybe we should discuss on air, is the fact that it's Friday that we're talking about, right?
Correct.
Friday is a request day. So if someone has something in mind that was taped 2 or 3 years ago, maybe longer ago, and they'd like to see it again, they can call the station for a request day and say, you know, I'd like to see that concert from 3 years ago.
Graduation, yeah, anything that was
something
done
from a number of years ago, and you can still show it. You don't get rid of the tapes and erase them and tape over them. You keep them in an archive.
Yeah, that is correct. And also without our request, with our request, also in our regular rotation, if we have an old show we're airing, we use that as the introduction. And so that took first. And then also we're proud to say that our student, Jake Carafel, he came up with a poem last year and put it to video. And then this also took 2nd place for all the students from grade 7 to 12th. He got 2nd place for this interpretation of a poem. Yeah, it's incredible.
So where will these awards be presented, and you know, what's the ramification of this?
Well, we'll say in Royal Oak.
Okay.
In Royal Oak, Michigan, that they'll be presenting the awards, and it'll be an evening affair. And my wife and I hope to attend. And
sometime in October, or is it November?
It's in October.
October, okay.
Just not to date the show.
Okay, so it's kind of like you get to go down and win the Academy Award. I remember, because we did win one for Let's Learn German a long time ago for, see if I can remember this, Best Non-Professional Children's Educational Program.
Yeah, they have a category for everything.
For everything, you know, and I don't know what the competition was, but I know it was very stiff because we won first and we were so excited. We might have been the only entry, I don't know. But it was really very much like the Academy Awards. You went to this dinner and they called your name off and you got to go up and make a few comments about, I'm pleased to accept the award and thank all the little people. So you got that in mind? All the people to remember to thank?
Actually, it's my staff. I mean, that's...
Thank my staff.
Yeah,
let me pull that out of my pocket here.
That's easy to do.
Great. Well, congratulations, and it's wonderful to know that other people are recognizing the good things that are happening here at CPHR6. Of course, we've known it all along, and we're very pleased to bring to our community television programs that let them know what's happening in our school and what's happening for students, and even through the community, because as you mentioned earlier, City Beat is taped here in our studios for the city of Port Huron with Randy Fernandez.
Yes.
So thank you, Ed.
Hey, no
I appreciate
problem.
you being here. Drive carefully in that new bus. And are you taking the bus down to the Philo Awards?
Oh, no, no.
Well, I just thought.
Use that to haul our kids around.
There we go. Oh. There we go. I just wanted to double check. So please be sure to watch those programs that we're talking about here on CPHS 6, and don't go away. We'll be right back with our last guest of the day. Our last guest today is a newcomer to Port Huron Area School District. She is a graduate of Oakland University, and she is following in the footsteps of some very successful music directors, and I know she will be too. Her name is Carly Ketchman, and I'm pleased to welcome you to our district and to our show.
Thank you for having me.
You've got 4 weeks under your belt. You've been teaching for 4 whole weeks now.
I know,
Does it
yes.
seem longer than that?
Not at all.
No?
It's been such a wonderful experience. The kids are, I actually got all warm and fuzzy today that my kids, we were sitting and we were listening to a piece by Tavner that we're going to do Song for Athene, and the kids were just like hushing everybody in the hallways and around each other. The kids are so into the music. It's just, it's wonderful. This is a great community to be teaching in.
So tell me a little bit about what you thought of when you came here and you were interviewed and you saw the position open. Of course, you know Deb Blair. You knew her through Oakland University. You were a student there, and she was a graduate student, I think, working on her doctorate degree, so you ran into each other. And I think, did she tell you about the job and tell you that you should apply?
I had heard from our mentor, Jackie Wiggins, that there was a possibility this position might open. She always sends us some information as undergrads, and Deb herself didn't contact me, but she contacted Jackie Wiggins, our mentor, and I was notified that way. But she said that the position was going to be open within the district for 2 weeks before we were allowed to apply for it. So it was kind of like sitting on pins and needles until we could finally apply.
Yeah, the first step is, will it be filled internally by someone already in the district? And I knew the answer to that, but we have to do it anyway because we didn't have anybody that was interested.
Right.
And even questionably certified, because this is high school vocal music. It's a 912 or a 612 certification, maybe K12, but it's in vocal music. It's another extension rather than just general music.
Right.
So you were certified and qualified, and you applied, got the interview. What did you think when you came for the interview?
I knew it was the job of my dreams coming in the door. I knew Deb. I knew the position that was opening up. I knew the kinds of things that she was capable of, and that she was a wonderful teacher. And I knew that it was big shoes to fill. And when I came in, I knew that it was what I wanted. I'd interviewed at several different places, and it just wasn't working out. And when I came in, and as soon as I got into the interview, things just seemed to be really comfortable. Even though you're all intimidating, being administration and all, I felt really at home just talking about my policies and the questions that you asked me. I didn't really feel like I was being attacked or anything. It was a wonderful interview, and it went really well, and I just felt very at home.
What did you think when you drove in the parking lot and saw the Performing Arts Center being built right next to the building? Wasn't that a little bit overwhelming?
I perked an eyebrow at that, as a matter of fact. I looked and I was thinking, oh, isn't that nice? Okay, that looks like an up and coming, so we're very excited.
What is that huge structure going in there? Yes, the auditorium. We're really excited about that.
Yes, we are very excited.
I have been very pleased and impressed with the organization that you've demonstrated and what you've been doing so far. You've been on board for about 4 weeks, but I already feel like you've been here a lot longer than that because you just feel like you're fitting right in. Tell me about some of the plans that you have made already for the choir program and how it's going.
Well, we have a winter concert, or fall/winter concert, coming up for November 30th at 7 o'clock at Life of Faith Fellowship. Be there. We also have a pre-festival concert that's coming up in March. We have solo and ensemble that we're hoping to do this year. I know last year they weren't able to do it. I'm going to see what I can pull because I really think that's an important thing for the students to be able to do. Also, festival we'll be doing. We have a spring concert coming up at the end of the school year. We are also planning, I'm trying to get the concert choir to do a couple of things. They'll be singing at a Yonkers fundraiser coming up in November. I believe it's the November 20th. They'll be singing at the mall for a fundraiser. We're also trying to go to Oakland University, I believe it's the end of November, for a chamber singers festival that they have. It's just an experience for the students of the area. So I'm looking into that. We also have the two top groups, the concert choir and women's ensemble. There's about, how many kids are actually in there? About 60 kids, 50 kids that are in there. And we're planning a trip to Florida to go to Disney, where in April 12th through the 17th, we're going to be taking a educational tour where the students will be participating in musical workshops where they're going to be learning how to sing and sight read, and I've heard just wonderful things about Disney. They'll also, of course, get to spend some time in the parks and have good times with their friends. We'll be staying from the 12th through the 17th. We're driving down in a bus. So that's another very exciting thing. We're doing a lot of fundraising for that, and the students are really jazzed up about that.
Barring additional hurricanes.
Yeah, as long as it's still standing,
Yes.
we'll be there.
I hope they can recover now.
Amen.
I hope no more come through.
Yeah.
You also have an opportunity at the school to be actively involved with the students coming in and recruiting. I stopped by to visit the other day, and I mentioned to you I was really impressed with the number of men that you have in the concert choir. I think that's the largest number of guys that have been involved in the concert choir group, and it's exclusive. Sorry, it's exclusively Port Huron Northern now. It's not a blended choir this year, right?
Right.
So you have, well, how many men do you have? You must have 10 at least, 10 to 12.
I have 11 men
Okay.
in the men's vocal theory class, and they're doing a wonderful job. What the difference between women's ensemble concert choir and then the vocal theory classes is that the vocal theory are a beginning ensemble for both men and women separately, so that they can feel out their voices. And the men, most of them have no prior knowledge of music. We do have a couple that are one that's actually in concert choir. He's helping us out. It's a joy to have him. And but there's also a lot of guys in there that they have never read a note of music. They've never done any rhythmic dictation, and they're really hard workers.
How many guys do you have in men's vocal?
Men's vocal is 11.
11. That's
11
a good number.
guys. Yeah,
That's a good number.
they're doing a lot of hard work. I've started them on 3-part, and they're getting it done.
Once we build the idea that it's an okay place to be and it's not threatening, and that you can actually learn to use your voice and to sing well, I hope we'll see that grow, because music has been so important to me all my life, and I'd love to see other people have that opportunity to experience it and share it. Do you have any qualms, any concerns about the area? Did you find traffic to be interesting?
Well,
and the expressway?
M25 is a little interesting. I just, I was coming over here after teaching, and I was, driving, and I'm thinking, okay, I've got 10 minutes to get there, and I was really pushing the clock going on M25. But I came from Richmond, which is a smaller town, and this town is huge compared to what Richmond used to be. Richmond's, of course, growing now, but it's a very large town, but it's a nice community, though. So.
Well, we used to be a much smaller town, and M25 used to be just Pine Grove, and it was only 2 lanes, and believe that or not.
Yeah.
And now you're right, it's pretty busy up there.
Good
by
thing
Port
it's not
Huron
2 lanes
Northern.
anymore.
Right.
It'd be 3 hours.
And
to
trying to get out of the school and to get somewhere in the afternoon is pretty challenging.
Right. Yeah.
So are you living in town now?
I am, actually. I'm living in town. I moved out to Waterford to be closer to Oakland University, and then I believe it was 2 weeks before school started, I actually moved to Port Huron area. So I'm living. My commute is like nothing. I hop in the car and I'm there. It's weird.
You're at the north end, close
yes.
by.
Yep.
And I understand you have a roommate.
I do. I have a roommate. His name is Stilton, and he is my cat, and he's wonderful. I named him after my favorite cheese. Stilton. If you've never tried Stilton cheese, you've got to try it. It's wonderful.
And you get it at Kroger?
You can get it at Kroger. You can get it at Meijer. You can get it at pretty much anywhere. It's a blue cheese.
Okay.
And you got to be prepared because it's really, really.
Okay.
Got a kick to it.
So it grabs life with a zest.
Just like my cat.
And
yes.
like Carly Ketchman, obviously.
Amen.
Okay. I have to tell you, I'm a little threatened by you because you talk as fast as I do, and that's pretty hard to do in this district. Everyone often comments, but you're moving right along there.
Thank you.
We'll do just fine. We'll get along great. Well, Carly, congratulations on becoming our new choir teacher at Port Huron Northern.
Thank you.
I'm really excited as Director of Fine Arts to be working with you and to see where you can take the choir program. You've got a great foundation from Mrs. Manuelo and Mrs. Blair,
yes.
and you were not necessarily intimidated by that at all, and I'm impressed by that. And
Thank you.
Just pick up the pieces and run. And from what I heard the other day, after just a few weeks of rehearsal, the kids are sounding great, and I'm looking forward to the concert, which, once again, the date is the first one?
The first one is November 30th at the Life of Faith Church at 7 o'clock.
On Lapeer Road.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So, thanks for being my guest today.
Thank you.
And thanks for tuning in to CPHS 6 Our Schools Monthly. Remember, the choir concerts are scheduled, and we invite you to join us for those and for the band concerts as well. But more important, we invite you to tune in to CPHS 6 to watch this and a number of other programs that are designed to keep you informed of what's happening in our schools. We really appreciate your support for our schools, and we appreciate you as our viewing audience. Thanks for watching, and have a great evening.